English File 4th Edition Advanced Students Book. CD 2. 3.1. 1.
It's called Hater and strikes me as quite brilliant.
2.
More openly expressed hatred in the world. Just what we need.
3.2. 1. A.
My parents have invited us over next Sunday.
Oh, great! Your mum's such a wonderful cook.
B.
My parents have invited us over next Sunday.
Oh, great! Your mum's such a wonderful cook.
2. A.
I don't believe it. The car won't start.
Why don't we walk instead?
Good idea. It's only 2 miles.
B.
I don't believe it. The car won't start.
Why don't we walk instead?
Good idea. It's only 2 miles.
3. A.
Do you want me to lend you £5?
£5? Yes, thanks. That'll really help.
B.
Do you want me to lend you £5?
£5? Yes, thanks. That'll really help.
4. A.
I've booked that new vegetarian restaurant for dinner tomorrow.
Oh, good! I love vegetarian food.
B.
I've booked that new vegetarian restaurant for dinner tomorrow.
Oh, good. I love vegetarian food.
5. A.
Gary and Melanie have put pictures of their baby on Facebook.
Oh, cool. I was dying to see some.
B.
Gary and Melanie have put pictures of their baby on Facebook.
Cool. I was dying to see some.
6. A.
Happy birthday, darling. It's a scarf.
Thanks, that's just what I needed.
B.
Happy birthday, darling. It's a scarf.
Thanks, that's just what I needed.
7. A.
I've done the washing up.
Oh, great. Well done.
B.
I've done the washing up.
Oh, great. Well done.
8. A.
The family are all going to spend Christmas with us.
That'll be fun.
B.
The family are all going to spend Christmas with us.
That'll be fun.
3.3. 1.
Oh, great! Your mum's such a wonderful cook.
2.
Good idea. It's only 2 miles.
3.
£5? Yes, thanks. That'll really help.
4.
Oh, good! I love vegetarian food.
5.
Cool. I was dying to see some.
6.
Thanks, that's just what I needed.
7.
Oh, great. Well done.
8.
That'll be fun.
3.4.
Challenge 1. Approach a stranger. James suggested that I talk to guys in bookshops, mainly because I love books, but also because, as he pointed out, bookshops are a nice calm space to start a conversation, much better than a packed tube train. So I had a go, but it was absolutely terrifying. I tried smiling and saying, "Oh, that one's very good," but it just didn't feel natural at all. And even though a couple of guys responded positively, I just couldn't move from "that one's very good" to natural conversation. So, in the end, I left the shop with 0 phone numbers and more books to gather dust on my shelves. I can sort of see how this method might work for some people, but I'd still rather use my thumb and my phone. I'd give this challenge 2 out of 5. Challenge 2. Try a new activity. Okay, so my next challenge was to try something new, and I thought I'd take my housemate, Charlie, to a club that had mini-golf. This challenge was Hayley's idea, and she suggested I shouldn't use conventional chat-up lines like, I don't know, "Do you come here often?" and that I should try and be as natural as possible. Anyway, so after our game of mini-golf, I managed to catch the eye of a guy who was sipping a pint of beer across the bar. He was tall and had dark hair, my typical type, in fact. I remembered Hayley's advice and I walked over to him, with Charlie to help me feel more confident, and I told him that Charlie and I had a bet to guess his name. Of course, our guesses were all wrong, and we ended up laughing hysterically. He turned out to be called Rob. Our idea was Harold, and though I was nervous talking to him at first, it quite quickly felt as easy as talking to a friend at a party. And guess what? We exchanged numbers and have been chatting online ever since, so I definitely recommend trying something new, outside of your comfort zone. 5 out of 5. Challenge 3. Go to an event for singles. I decided to go to a singles event because I thought that before dating apps existed, these must have worked. I sort of imagined there'd be professional people who live in London, a bit like me, people who'd signed up because they were too busy to go looking for dates, or perhaps who were also fed up of apps. So, as soon as I got there, I had 2 glasses of wine, and that meant I was happy to chat with pretty much anyone, but the awkward atmosphere was painful and sort of embarrassing. No one was talking. They were just standing in small groups of either men or women and sort of looking round at the others in the room. Anyway, I plucked up the courage and went up to a couple of guys, but they both made it clear that they weren't interested in me. And then I tried chatting to another guy eating a burrito, but he seemed more interested in the burrito than me. So I felt like a bit of a failure, and to be honest, I'd only give singles events 1 out of 5. Challenge 4. Ask a friend to set up a blind date. A blind date is one of the most classic dating techniques I could think of, so I texted a few friends and asked them to set me up. They took ages, but after a while, I finally managed to get a friend to organise a date for me. She gave me his first name, which was Tom, and a photo, and told me to head to a restaurant that night at 7:30. Of course, I really wanted to look him up on every social media site in order to prepare, but then I reminded myself that this was supposed to be real life. But because I knew nothing about him, I got way more nervous than before any other first date I'd been on. Tom was a bit late, but we immediately got chatting about American politics, and I think I was probably more myself than I'd ever been on a date from a dating app. The fact that we didn't know anything about each other meant we discovered things on equal terms, and that was a nice change. And he was funny and asked interesting questions, and all that showed me that dating in real life can be fun. And I'd only just left the restaurant when he texted me to say that he'd had a great time. So that was a good experience. 4 out of 5.
.5 1.
The dating coaches suggested trying 4 ways of meeting someone new.
2.
James suggested that I talk to guys in bookshops.
3.
Hayley suggested I shouldn't use conventional chat-up lines.
3.6
The verdict. Well, after the 4 challenges, I think the main thing I learnt was that pushing myself out of my comfort zone and actually looking at men outside of a screen showed me just how many opportunities there are to meet people in real life. Catching a stranger's eyes started off as terrifying, but it also gave me a real buzz, and I really surprised myself that I was able to chat someone up for the first time in my life. Obviously, I didn't find love, and sadly, the texting with Rob and Tom has dried up. But those positive experiences taught me a lot, and I won't rule out real-life flirting in the future. But although I found the experience confidence-boosting, I'm not sure I'm completely converted. I found that approaching guys with no idea even whether they're single or not was more stressful than fun. If I get a match on an app, we already have things in common, and I know they're looking for a match too. So I'm not giving up on my apps just yet.
3.7. Phrases with get. 1. Expressions with get. 1.
I get the impression you're a bit annoyed with me.
2.
When I told him to meet us at the station, he got the wrong end of the stick and went to the bus station, not the train station.
3.
Since we stopped working together, we hardly ever get the chance to see each other.
4.
Everyone else laughed, but I didn't get the joke.
5.
When you get to know him, I think you'll really like him.
6.
I need to speak to Martina urgently, but I just can't get hold of her.
7.
I want to get rid of that awful painting, but I can't because it was a wedding present from my mother-in-law.
8.
I'm going to get my own back on my brother for telling my parents I got home late. Now I won't lend him my bike.
9.
He's going to get into trouble with his boss if he's late again.
10.
I tried to walk past him, but he wouldn't get out of the way.
3.8. 2. Idioms with get. 1. I.
Get real! There's no way you can afford that car.
2. J.
Get a life. You're 40 and you're still living with your parents.
3. A.
I'm not getting anywhere with this crossword. It's just too difficult for me.
4. F.
She really gets on my nerves. Everything about her irritates me. Her voice, her smile, everything.
5. D.
She really needs to get her act together. Her exam is in 2 weeks and she hasn't even started studying.
6. C.
They get on like a house on fire. They have exactly the same tastes and interests.
7. E.
You should get a move on. If you don't leave soon, you'll miss the train.
8. B.
Your grandfather must be getting on a bit. Is he in his 80s now?
9. H.
My boss just never gets the message. I keep dropping hints about a pay rise, but he takes no notice.
10. G.
She always gets her own way. Everyone just does whatever she tells them to.
3.9. 3. Phrasal verbs with get. 1. J.
Get together means start a relationship.
2. A.
Get over something means recover from it.
3. K.
Get on with something means continue doing it.
4. D.
Get through to somebody means make them understand.
5. B.
Get into means start a career or profession.
6. C.
Get around means move from place to place.
7. L.
Get away with something means do something wrong without getting caught.
8. E.
Get by means manage with what you have.
9. F.
Get behind means fail to make enough progress.
10. G.
Get somebody down means make them feel depressed.
11. I.
Get out of something means avoid a responsibility or obligation.
12. H.
Get back to somebody means respond to them by speaking or writing.
3.10. Conflict and warfare. 1. People and events. A. 1.
Casualties.
2.
Refugees.
3.
Forces.
4.
Troops.
5.
Commander.
6.
The wounded.
7.
Civilians.
8.
Snipers.
9.
Survivors.
10.
Ally.
B. 1.
Rebellion.
2.
Coup.
3.
Ceasefire.
4.
Siege.
5.
Civil war.
6.
Treaty.
7.
Revolution.
3.11. 2. Conflict verbs. 1.
The rebels overthrew the government.
2.
Fighting broke out between the rebels and the army.
3.
The army shelled the rebel positions.
4.
The rebels retreated.
5.
Some of the rebels surrendered.
6.
The rebels blew up the airport runway.
7.
The government declared war on the rebels.
8.
Some rebels looted the city.
9.
The army captured over 300 rebels.
10.
They finally defeated the rebels.
11.
The army released most of the rebel prisoners.
12.
They executed the rebel leader.
3.12. 3. Metaphorical uses of conflict verbs. 1.
The fire broke out at 3 in the morning.
2.
The police have released details of the accident.
3.
The new princess has captured the imagination of the public.
4.
I read the instructions 3 times, but they completely defeated me.
5.
The minister was arrested and forced to surrender his passport.
6.
A crisis has blown up over the new education policy.
7.
He declared that he was in love with her.
8.
The flood water took a long time to retreat from the streets.
3.13.
Capture. Captive. Captor. Captive. Capture.
Command. Commander. Commanding. Command.
Execution, executioner, execute.
History, historian, historic, historical.
Looting, looter, loot.
Rebellion, rebel, rebellious, rebel.
Revolution. Revolutionary. Revolutionary. Revolt.
Siege. Besieged. Besiege.
Survival, survivor, surviving, survive.
Victory, victor, victorious.
3.14, Part 1.
How important is historical accuracy in a historical film?
The notion of accuracy in history is a really difficult one in drama because, it's like saying, well, was Macbeth accurate? Is Shakespearean drama accurate? The thing is, it's not about historical accuracy. It's about whether you can make a drama work from history that means something to an audience now. So I tend to take the view that, in a way, accuracy isn't the issue when it comes to the drama. If you're writing a drama, you have the right, as a writer, to create the drama that works for you. So you can certainly change details. The truth is nobody really knows how people spoke in Rome or how people spoke in the course of Charles II or William the Conqueror or Victoria or whoever. You have an idea from writing, from books and plays and so on. We know when certain things happen, what sort of dates happened. I think it's really a question of judgment. If you make history ridiculous, if you change details to the point where history is an absurdity, then obviously things become more difficult. The truth is that the more recent history is, the more difficult it is not to be authentic to it. In a way, it's much easier to play fast and loose with the details of what happened in Rome than it is to play fast and loose with the details of what happened in the Iraq War, say, So it's all a matter of perspective in some ways. It's something that you have to be aware of and which you try to be faithful to, but you can't ultimately say a drama has to be bound by the rules of history because that's not what drama is.
Do you think that the writer has a responsibility to represent any kind of historical truth?
Not unless that's his intention. If it's your intention to be truthful to history and you put a piece out saying this is the true story of, say, the murder of Julius Caesar exactly as the historical record has it, then of course that you do have an obligation, because if you then deliberately tell lies about it, you're deceiving your audience. If, however, you say you're writing a drama about the assassination of Julius Caesar purely from your own perspective and entirely in a fictional context, then you have the right to tell the story however you like. I don't think you have any obligation except to the story that you're telling. What you can't be is deliberately dishonest. You can't say this is true when you know full well it isn't.
3.15, Part 2.
Can you think of any examples where you feel the facts have been twisted too far?
Well, I think the notion of whether a historical film has gone too far in presenting a dramatised fictional version of the truth is a really matter of personal taste. The danger is, with any historical film, that if that becomes the only thing that the audience sees on that subject, if it becomes the received version of the truth, as it were, because people don't always make the distinction between movies and reality and history, then obviously if that film is grossly irresponsible or grossly fantastic in its presentation of the truth, that could, I suppose, become controversial. I mean, I think that the only thing anybody is ever likely to know about Spartacus, for example, the movie, is Kirk Douglas and all his friends standing up and saying, I am Spartacus, which is a wonderful moment, and it stands for the notion of freedom, of individual choice, and so on. So Spartacus, a film made in 1962, I think, if memory serves, has become, I think, for nearly everybody who knows anything about Spartacus, the only version of the truth. Now, in fact, we don't know if any of that is true, really. There are some accounts of the historical Spartacus, but very, very few. And virtually the only thing that's known about it is that there was a man called Spartacus and there was a rebellion and many people were crucified at the end of it, as in the film. Whether that's irresponsible, I don't know. I can't say that I think it is. I think in a way Spartacus is a film that had a resonance in the modern era. There are other examples. A lot of people felt that the version of William Wallace that was presented in Braveheart was really pushing the limits of what history could stand. In effect, his whole career was invented in the film, or at least built on to such a degree that some people felt that perhaps it was more about the notion of Scotland as an independent country than it was about history as an authentic spectacle. But, again, these things are a matter of purely personal taste. I mean, I enjoyed Braveheart immensely.
3.16. 1.
The story in Gladiator is fictional. I mean, Russell Crowe's character Maximus didn't really exist.
2.
The scene with Churchill on the tube is really dramatic, but in fact, it never happened.
3.
Do you want to watch Spartacus tonight?
Not really. It's 3 hours long, and besides, I don't like old films.
4.
I really loved Mel Gibson in Braveheart.
Talking of Mel Gibson, have you seen the news today?